Freaking hell. I got an Ethernet tonight. How's it still poor? It's bullshit. What the fuck? I straight up have Ethernet. Like, how is it poor? Anyway, I'm gonna just start. Whatever. I'm live. Um, yeah, this is a pickup from last night because I had to cancel because of the connection. So I got an Ethernet cable, and I'm at a different hotel, like a more fancy hotel, I guess. And I have the Ethernet plugged in. So if there's a stream problem, it's not my internet. It's got to be something to do with YouTube or something. I don't know. Anyway, um, my topic for tonight, first location, I'm in yeah, Jackson, Tennessee. Um, it's kind of the hood. Uh, the burger, I got a burger there. It was actually pretty good. Food wasn't bad, but it's kind of the hood. Everything's run down. My last two stops were Nashville and Camden, Tennessee. Nashville is like too touristy now, and the only reason why I went there is because like 5 years ago for like a bachelor party, I got a went to this place called Acme Feed and Seed, formerly Chuck's, and they they had this thing. They had this like meal. I don't even know why I picked it, but it was easily top three meal of my entire life. It was it was meatloaf, but it was so freaking good. It was meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans. Simple, but it was so good. But apparently they stopped making the meatloaf. So when I got there, I had to they changed it to a pot roast, and the pot roast wasn't any good. The meatloaf was 10 times better. But yeah, that's the main reason why I even went to Nashville. Um, they had like drag queen buses and shit. I don't know, wasn't that great as I remembered. But Camden, Tennessee was all right. I stayed there. That's where I was last night. Uh, they had a decent place with chicken wings. The wings were pretty good there, actually. Tennessee overall has probably got better food than Kentucky. I only found good food at one location in Kentucky, and it was Bardstown, Kentucky. They had one of the best burgers I ever had. But everything else from Kentucky, food sucked. Uh, but Kentucky's beautiful. Tennessee's kind of the same though. Um, Now I'm in Jackson. It's kind of the hood, but I like it. The burger I got in the middle of the hood was actually pretty good. So um, now for the topic, what I was what I want to get into was I was watching Eric Dollard's four quadrant representation of electricity last night before I started the stream. That's why I just finished it right before I started the stream last night. Um, but it's like his representation of how electricity works, basically, and he bases it on sorry Pythagoras, uh, old school Pythagoras. I think Pythagoras and like Plato and stuff, they when they talk about math, people assume that they're using like when they say pi, that they're using 3.14159. When they say logarithm, they're using 2.71 whatever or 2.17 something like that. Whatever e equals in math. It's They even call it like in modern day math, they call it the natural logarithm. Well, if it was actually natural, why would you need to use that word, right? Unless it's not natural, and that's why they say it. And I think real logarithm would be 2, and the golden ratio would really be 1, and pi would actually be 4. And I think it all it's because it's like an engineerable thing. Like if you're a construction guy with no calculators, they didn't have calculators, they didn't have computers, and you wanted to like calculate the size of your pillar that's like a cylinder, would you use use like the number 3.14159 to calculate like its dimensions? That would be such a pain in the ass. And think about who works construction, right? It's not like some like nerdy nerdy dude. They're trying to get shit done quick. So they would use whole numbers. That's why I think the Greeks didn't use any decimals. Decimals were never used. It was all whole numbers. If you needed to get smaller than what you were counting or whatever, you just made the smallest unit of measurement smaller. That's it. And I think that can that applies to real life too. You could do that in real life. Well, anyway, so the golden ratio, if you look it up on Wikipedia, I'll pull it up right now. I know I'm right about this. Golden ratio. That's not the golden ratio. This is not the golden ratio, I don't think. Or at least not what the Greeks are talking about. Check it out. It says two quantities are in the golden ratio if the ratio is the same as the ratio of their sum for the larger of the two quantities, expressed algebraically for quantities A, which is large number, and B, which is small number, both being greater than 0. So you got large number plus small number divided by large number equals large number divided by uh, small number. And that ratio has to be equal for the golden ratio. That I can do it programmatically, and if I had my code, because this is a laptop, I haven't pulled down my my like programming repositories because it's a new laptop. But you can do this programmatically, and it never once equals 1.618033988 like they say here. This is something completely different. This thing right here, the constant blah satisfies the quadratic equation and is an irrational number with the value of. You just said it's not that. You know what I mean? And if you actually, I did a video on this. It's kind of schizo, but you can test this with blocks of the same size. You put one block on the ground, and then you put another equal size block. I'm gonna keep going because I'm recording it anyway. Equal size block on top of that, and then you slowly inch that top block off the bottom block. And the moment that it falls off is when there's more of the top block not touching the bottom block, so greater than 1, because the golden ratio is 1. What I'm trying to say is that even if you do 7 divided by 4, 7 divided by 4 with no decimals equals 1. 7 divided by 5, no decimals equals 1. 7 divided by 6, 1. Same with like 1 million divided by 500,001 equals 1 because there's no decimals. So that's how I think they were actually using the golden ratio. Anyway, get back to this. I kind of go on a tangent there. But, and when the Greeks say they square something, that means they literally draw a square. And they use the unit of measurement, the smallest unit of measurement, the amount of that smallest unit of measurement. Like here, it would be 4. but the smallest unit of measurement is this little cube here for this measurement here. And then they square it. They literally take the 4 and they square the 4. It was like wasn't really a math thing, I don't think. I think it was more like an engineering thing. Anyway, I think that's something Ken Wheeler and Eric Dollard kind of brush over. I think everything would be simpler without decimals. Um, but yeah, he gets these crazy cool perspectives for how the 4-quadrant electricity system works, electromagnetic system works. Uh, from top to bottom, right to left, left to right. If you add them all together, that looks like a Celtic cross, right? Don't it? And they're like interlocking almost, like sine cosine almost. And then you get the same thing with the golden ratio when it comes to musical scales. I don't know a lot about music. I'm pretty illiterate when it comes to that. But from what I can tell, it's like the same thing with the not using decimals. Like you can go up an octave, but it still has to equal 1 or equal whatever you started with. You know what I mean? Like I said, 7 divided by 6 is 1. 7 divided by 5 is 1. 7 divided by 4 is 1. So you can use any of those ratios, but it still has to meet the original 1. You know what I mean? I think that has something to do with how the musical scales go. Even though I don't know anything about music, I could be totally wrong, but that's the feel I get from it. He goes into this. I think Pylorable might be able to look into that a little bit more. But, eventually, he gets to this weird numerology. I don't know what that is. Kind of reminds me of a Ouija board. I don't know. That's weird though. Uh, the 4-quadrant system. And it's basically a crystal, an octahedral crystal, which is exactly what I was talking about in my last stream with, and Pi brought it up. The octahedral. That's an octahedral right there. It's a double-sided pyramid crystal. And that's how he explains electricity. It's basically the points, the faces, the edges, and like the orientation. I think that's what he's trying to say. And then he goes into archetypes. You have all these different archetypes of 4 quadrants. And I don't really know how he got these archetypes, but a lot of these shapes are the shapes that it looks like inside of like a coil or like a transformer or like a motor, induction motor. This is how the coils are actually wrapped. Some of these are. And then he says, but the 4-quadrant system gets into the bad symbol that we're not allowed to talk about. And he explains it like this, which also looks like a cross, right? Let's say the white part of it, the little tail here, that's like the motion that it's going in, like it's the trailing motion as it moves like this. And then the black would be moving in the opposite direction. And that's his theory for AC electrical power. I think this can be expanded upon massively with something called an electret. 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 And it's basically it's used in microphones, but you can make them. It's like uh, basically like a piezoelectric crystal that you can make. And I think piezoelectric crystals are like the opposite of magnetism. It's the dielectric. What That's what Ballard calls it, the dielectric. It's the electrostatic is probably a better way to say it. It's the electrostatic aspect of electricity, while the while magnets, lodestones, that kind of stuff is the magnetic aspect of electricity. So if you had, let's say the black part is a magnet, you get a cross magnet, and then you make an electrode in the shape with a mold that is in the shape of this. And the way you make an electrode is with uh, like wax. Wax, you use tree wax, white rosin, which is like the white powder that pitchers use and that like rock climbers use. You put them in mix them together, equal ratio, and then you add like 10% beeswax, and then you melt it, melt it all in like a beaker, and then you make like a mold. Like in this case, you make the mold in the shape of a cross, and then you cool the hot liquid from that mixture in that mold, and then while it's cooling, you run a very high voltage electrical current through it. So like a high voltage machine. You need a high voltage machine to do it. Like one kilovolt, like 10,000 kilovolts, some crazy number. Higher you can make it, the stronger the electrode will be. And then afterwards, you can actually measure that it pulls electrostatic charge, and it's got a polar too. It's polar, just like magnets. And then he gets into Integratron, which is like a teleportation machine. I've even asked Aaron Murakami, which is Eric Dallard's like online handler or whatever. But I asked him about it. I said, is the Integratron the same thing as the teleportation devices used in the movie They Live? And Aaron Murakami responded with, "They Live is a documentary." So yes, that's exactly what they are. It's a teleportation device. It eliminates space. It makes space. It takes the concept, like it takes like the dimension of space out of the equation. So you can be, as soon as you enter the device, you're automatically in the other location. There's no lag. So it's basically teleportation. And Eric says it was kind of related to like the sun and the earth, the moon, and the phases of the moon. And it turns into this. And let's see, where did I want to end this? The four quadrant. This is a electrostatic machine. You can find these online. He was basically saying the entire thing is one of these electrostatic machines with certain wirings. I don't know why I'm getting more into this. There's something else I wanted to say about this though. Shit. I don't know. But yeah, it has that symbol. Let me find that symbol one more time, and then I'll show you some crazy synchronicity I had today while I was getting before this stream. Damn it. Shit. All right, I'll just go back to the beginning. Where's that symbol at? This symbol. All right. So I'm I decided to part of this trip It's about I kind of connect Free Willy, the spell they chant in that movie at the end when the Free Willy jumps over the kid. Selana Ayun Iasis, and I found this when I was rewatching Free Willy. What's that look like? This is in the movie. That looks like that freaking four quadrant thing, don't it? Indian folk tales. And last night, I have this little book here to like keep track of stuff. Check this out. Let me make sure you guys can see this. That's the same freaking symbol. I drew that last night before the stream last night, and now I see it in this fucking Free Willy movie. Why is the stream fucking dead? This is so. I don't know. I'm just gonna turn it on. Oh, I think I know what it is. Shit. Oh shit. Hopefully that didn't knock me out. Please don't. Yeah, I had. Oh fuck. Oh, okay. I'm still there. I had to turn off my hardware acceleration because of you can't take screenshots anymore online without with the hardware acceleration on your browser on. They put it into like the into the hardware that you because they say it's illegal to take a screenshot of a photo. Took me like an hour, driving me freaking nuts. I was just trying to take a photo.
A long time ago, before the
book cover, and I couldn't do it. It just happened like a week ago. This became like the new update. Bullshit. That might be why the stream is kind of lagging because I don't have that on. Anyway, so I'm getting into the four quadrant system, right? And then I started getting into One Piece. I was in a 4chan thing.
this Grand Line to get there.
This manga called One Piece. And I basically say One Piece has these things called devil fruits, which are these guys right here. There's like these fruits that people find that are unique and they have certain patterns on them. You eat them once, and after you eat them, you get like special powers, basically. Like there's all kinds of different fruits. There's the main character has the rubber fruit, rubber fruit, where his whole body is made of rubber, basically. And there's like a lightning fruit. There's a giraffe fruit. There's a um, earthquake fruit. There's a darkness fruit. A cloud fruit. A smoke fruit. There's like anything you can really think of. And all of these patterns, they all got like a certain pattern on them, right? All these different fruits, and you only have to take one bite of them, and then that fruit never spawns again until that person dies. So like this is like a berry. It's not actually like a tree that grows that. It's only one of those berries on one tree, and it's like the weakness of the devil fruit is that you can no longer swim in water. Think about that. The entire manga of One Piece is about pirates, and the main character's main mission is to be he wants to be something called the Pirate King because he thinks he knows that the Pirate King is the person that's most free, most truly sovereign is the Pirate King. That's why he wants to be Pirate King. The most truly sovereign